This was the final Monday Night Raw before Night of Champions this weekend, still scheduled for Saturday in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. John Cena and CM Punk in the main event for the WWE Championship. Tonight, though, was not about John Cena and CM Punk. We didn't have either one of them on the show, even though CM Punk is technically a Raw star. He was not on the show tonight, but as of tonight, they are a go for Riyadh. If they were going to make the move, it would have happened today. So the fact that they are all systems go, which I never really doubted they would be, barring some big, string of events today, but they're going to Riyadh. There's a lot of money to be made there. This is WWE. This is TKO. It's going to take an act of God to get them to not go and do this show, not only on Saturday, but remember, they're in Riyadh on Friday as well for SmackDown. So they have two shows there, not just one. So as of this moment, as I am live, yes, they are still going to be in Saudi this Saturday. I'm getting questions all day about this. But we are up to 6 matches now on this show. Only 2 of those 6 matches are actually for championships on a show called Night of Champions. And there would have been a third one, but we actually had a match cancellation. One of the championship matches scheduled for Saturday is officially off. They claim that it's a storyline injury. Well, they didn't claim storyline, but they made it out to be an injury, and I don't believe it to be an injury. It sounds to me like one of the participants in that match, if not both, said, I ain't flying over to Saudi Arabia this weekend, which honestly, I don't blame them because I wouldn't want to either, but somebody made that call, and so the match is off. It'll be rescheduled for a later date. I will tell you which match that is as we go along here. This show tonight was a very middle-of-the-road show. Very middle-of-the-road show with a hot main event between two of the biggest baby faces in the entire company. It was the King of the Ring semifinal between Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. The winner goes on to Riyadh at Night of Champions in the finals to meet Randy Orton. And in fact, Cody Rhodes will be going to Night of Champions and is finally going to be getting into the ring against Randy Orton. This is a match I've been waiting to see since Cody came back to the company. We're finally getting it, and I think it's going to be the kickoff to something much bigger between those two. But yeah, these two went in there tonight, Cody and Jay did, and they had what I honestly thought was one of the best singles matches of Jey Uso's entire career. I enjoyed the match he had a couple of weeks ago on TV against Gunther, but this was one of the best matches that Jey Uso has had. On the opposite end of the spectrum, we had a Queen of the Ring semifinal between Jade, Cargill, and Asuka. That was definitely not the best match of either woman's career. It really wasn't very good, but Jade is on her way. She's on her way to the finals. She will be wrestling at Night of Champions. One step closer is Jade Cargill against Asuka to potentially wearing the crown. Now, I mentioned there was no John Cena or CM Punk on the show tonight. Tonight was not about the WWE Championship. Tonight was about the World Heavyweight Championship. Last week, we had Goldberg back on TV. And I believe the plan is to have Goldberg on most of the shows between now and Saturday night's main event. And for the first time tonight on television, because they've already acknowledged it off the air, but on the actual show, they acknowledge the fact that it will be his retirement match. This will be the last professional wrestling match that this man ever has. We had a sit-down interview with him and Michael Cole that was 30 minutes long, not on the show. Got people listening to this and watching this right now go, wait a minute. There's a 30-minute Goldberg segment on the show. He claimed it was a 30-minute sit-down interview. I would think they would post the entire thing on YouTube. I don't know. I really don't care. They showed a small portion of it on the show. And then we had the World Heavyweight Champion Gunther coming out later in the show to give his response, which was great. Also brief and to the point, like Goldberg's comments were, but Gunther, I thought Gunther's segment was great. So we'll talk about that and everything else that happened here on this show, how we came to some of these other new matches that are now scheduled for Saturday's show. Programming note, they announced tonight that Raw next Monday is going to be airing early. It's a special start time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And the reason, and they're in Pittsburgh, they're not like overseas. The reason they're doing this is because next week they are taping SmackDown after Raw. SmackDown next Friday airs on July 4th. So to give the talent the opportunity to go home if they have whatever other travel plans and not have to do a show live on the 4th of July, they're taping it next Monday immediately after Raw. So that first 2 hours SmackDown that we're supposedly getting next week, not this week, but next week, is going to be a taped show. But because of that, Raw is going to air on Netflix at 6 o'clock. And as soon as Raw is over, I'll be live. So instead of doing a stream at 11 o'clock at night next week, I get to do one 2 hours earlier. I'm pretty happy about that. So anyway, just be aware of that. That's the reason. Oh, by the way, one other thing I wanted to mention here. So I did a whole segment on the Sound Off this weekend talking about the reported shift from 3-hour SmackDowns back to 2-hour SmackDowns. And the segment's up on the YouTube channel now. Got a lot of good feedback from it and addressed some of the criticisms and the concerns that people have. Some people are unhappy that SmackDown is going back to 2 hours. I am not one of those people. But I said I wasn't sure if next week's show was 2 hours and then it was back to 3 for a little bit until that new show, The Rainmaker, premieres. It's a new legal show on USA. That is premiering on Friday, August 15th at 10 p.m. So that's already been reported. I wasn't sure if after next week, though, they're going back to 3 hours until the middle of August, or if this new 2-hour era of SmackDown officially kicks off next Friday. I did get an email from a listener of the show who works for NBC and was able to confirm that, in fact, the 2-hour weekly SmackDowns, according to him, they do start next week, which is great news. I'm pumped. I'm very excited. So officially 2-hour SmackDowns each week are back next Friday. But anyway, 6 p.m. Eastern, start time for Raw next Monday. This is your Raw on Netflix review. It is Monday night. It is June 23rd, 2025. I am the Solomonster as we kick off. I guess it's technically not the final week here in June, right? Next Monday is June 30th. So we're not quite done with June. Let me tell you, summer is officially here. And I hope wherever you may be, it is not quite as hot as it is here in New York, because it is disgusting. Even now, as I sit here, it's like 82 degrees outside, which is actually not too bad compared to what we were dealing with during the day. And tomorrow is going to be the worst day of the entire week. So I'm going to be sitting here. I'm going to be sweltering through TNT tomorrow night because I turned the air conditioning off as soon as I came on live. I may have to put it back on in a little bit. I'm already getting hot. We literally just started. I'm already getting hot, but I'm gonna try to do this for you guys, so that way you don't hear it in the background. Like and subscribe. Super chats are open, and they are welcome. And I will read your messages as we go through this stream a little bit later on. We will read all of your super chats. If you have comments, questions, just want to support, get them on in, and we will do that a little bit later on here in the show. Felt like over 100 degrees earlier in New York. Yeah, the real feel. The real feel was just brutal. Tomorrow, the actual temperature, I think, is supposed to get up to 95, 96. So what is that? Probably going to be a real feel of like 110. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I can't believe I'm already sweating. I just turned it off. Oh, man. Well, we'll see. We'll see how long I can survive here. But yeah, wherever you are, though, in all seriousness, when it gets like this and it's just fucking muggy and humid and all that, just be safe. And if you have pets, if you have elderly neighbors or grandparents or whatever, just check on them. I mean, this stuff is just a killer. So Pat McAfee was not on the show last week. They didn't say why, but he's got 1,000,001 different things that he's hosting and doing, so I'm sure he's busy with something. And he wasn't on the show this week either. So as like we had last week, Corey Graves was sitting in for him, which I'm totally fine with. I think Michael Cole and Corey Graves are great together, so no complaints here. And the fans sang Seth Rollins, the heel. They sang him and his crew down to the ring to his music. Rollins asked what the crowd wanted because he was getting mixed messages. 1 minute they're chanting for CM Punk, which they started doing. The next they're chanting OTC. The next they're barking for his dog, referring to Braun Breaker. Then they're singing his song. They don't know what they want. So he didn't care. They needed people like him to tell them what is good for them. And even the things that they thought they wanted were because of him. Roman Reigns existed because of him. Punk claimed that he was back for the fans, but really, it was because the company could cash in on how much he despised CM Punk. There was no second coming of Cody Rhodes without Seth Rollins to put him back on the map. He brought up that he was the very first World Heavyweight Champion. He brought up that he was the very first NXT Champion. And he built those things in his image. He was the past, the present, and the future. And at that point, he went over to Paul Heyman. He cozied up to Heyman and said that Paul knew a thing or two about revolutions. Every revolution had opposition, but he would deal with them. Bronson Reed dealt with LA Knight on Friday, and Braun Breaker was about to deal with Penta. And there were a lot of people who thought that they could exist at the very top. John Cena, Gunther, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Goldberg, Jey Uso, Randy Orton. But they all failed to understand that they were running a race for second place. He was the end game and always would be. And finally, after all this, He was done flapping his gums. This was just a boring opening promo that just droned on and on and on. But Michael Cole mentioned that LA Knight was out indefinitely with a bruised sternum and separated rib cartilage after those 3 tsunami splashes that he took from Bronson Reed on SmackDown Friday night. And, when they did that whole segment, it felt like an injury angle to write him off TV for several weeks. I don't want to say months, but for several weeks. I would imagine that, he's back in time for SummerSlam, but we're not going to see LA Knight for a little bit here. And hopefully the next time that we do see him, and it has to be, given who took him out, it would be on Monday Night Raw, which is where he belongs anyway. So that's the hope anyway. So Rollins and Reed, they went to the back. That left Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman behind for Braun's match against Penta. And the match was joined in progress after a commercial break. Penta ran Breaker into the ring post at ringside. He got back into the ring, and then he hit a flip dive out onto Breaker on the floor. Penta was grabbing at his hamstring as they headed into the commercial break. But thankfully, he was okay. Not quite as scary or as unfortunate as the Tyrese Halliburton injury during Game 7 last night. Now, look, I'm no Pacers fan, but that sucks. Going down with an Achilles injury is not a good time. So during the break, Daddy Ugarte says Solo will be a few pounds lighter after the stream by cutting weight. Hey, you know what? It might not be a bad idea. That's one way to cut weight. And my own personal sauna here tonight. Now I got to watch also for the computer. This thing will start stressing out on me here if it gets too hot. Now during the break, we missed Breaker dumping Penta down face first they were on the ropes, and he kind of dropped him face first down on the top part of the ring post casing, and that caused Penta to tumble out to the floor. Then he ended up sitting, Penta that is, seated on the announce desk. Braun got up on the apron, he did his leaping clothesline, both men taken over the announce desk. This all happened during the break. They did show a replay of it, but it all happened during the commercial break. Late in the match, Penta went for a Mexican Destroyer, but Breaker avoided it. Penta went to the ropes. Breaker hit him with a leaping knee strike and then pulled him down off the ropes with a Frankensteiner. Penta, though, came back, hit a Destroyer for a close near fall. Penta went for a springboard move after this, but Breaker speared the shit out of him right out of midair and pinned him. There were a few rough moments here in this match where these two were not working on the same page. Most of it, though, as far as the rest of it, was good. The finish was great. Rollins and Reed came back out at this point to congratulate Breaker. Rollins walked over to the ropes where Penta was, and he said, "This is your one warning to stay out of my way," as Penta shook his head no. Right now, I know some people are going to be upset that Penta lost, and it's not like he's losing all of his matches. I mean, he won to qualify for Money in the Bank, but then he didn't win Money in the Bank. In the month of May, I went back to see, some of his recent matches, and he's won some matches. It's just that he's got to get going, with something good. Right now he doesn't really have anything. And we'll talk more about him because we saw him again later in the show briefly. It's not really about him, though. What this is about right now, they're still in the mode of trying to get this new group over. Trying to get Bronson Reed over, trying to get Braun Breaker over. It's about trying to feed them wins and make them look dominating. And look, Penta lost, but this was hardly a squash. I mean, this was a very competitive match that he just came out on the losing end of, and it was with a cool finish, too. Once Breaker hit that spear out of midair, nobody was expecting Penta to kick out or get up from that, and he did not. So outside of some shaky moments here, hardly a squash. I thought this was good. They replayed Liv Morgan's injury. Speaking of unfortunate injuries, man, Halliburton wasn't the only one who went down with an injury this week. They replayed Liv Morgan's injury last week from her match with Kairi Sane, which again was a total freak thing. You just watch it, and literally, she just went forward, right? She was dropping forward on the mat, put her arms out, landed under like her elbows and her forearms, and she dislocated her shoulder. And it just turned out that it was a severe dislocation, severe enough that, and I don't think they mentioned this on TV, but the reports have been that she would need surgery if she hasn't already had surgery. And if you need surgery for an injury like that, that's even worse because that means you're going to be out for an extended period of time. So we're not going to see Liv Morgan certainly back in the ring for many months.
Have the best moveset.
We're not going to see her back in the ring for many months. That doesn't mean we won't see her back on TV for many months. So we'll have to wait and see how long it is before we see her again. They could always work her back into the storylines, you know, in a sling or something like that. But they said that she would be out for several months. So we go backstage. Adam Pearce is meeting with AJ Styles in his office. And he says that Liv Morgan is not the only member of the Judgment Day bitten by the injury bug. He said Dominic Mysterio was also injured. And therefore, their Night of Champions match for the Intercontinental Championship is off. And Styles was not convinced of this. He said that Dom was just ducking him. And Pearce promised him, look, I promise you, as soon as we're able to make it, as soon as Dom is healthy, you will get your Intercontinental Championship match. And AJ walked off. And look, maybe we'll come to find out that there is like a minor injury or something. Because Dom was on the show. Dom was in the Judgment Day Clubhouse a little bit later on. It's not like he wasn't there. Is there a chance that there is a legitimate injury here? Sure. I'm not buying it, though. It sounds to me like someone didn't want to fly to Saudi Arabia. Maybe it was both of them. Maybe it was AJ. Maybe it was Dom. They're crediting Dom with the injury and storyline. So maybe it was Dom who didn't want to go. Maybe Rey Mysterio said, my son's not going. I'm making an executive decision here. And the deadbeat dad made a good decision for once. Whatever it is, this smells to me like someone didn't want to go. And look, they all should have the option of going or not going. So, show might be on, but if someone doesn't feel comfortable going, then they don't go. It's as simple as that. And they shouldn't be punished or penalized for it. After AJ left, the New Day showed up with Grayson Waller. No Austin Theory, no mention of him. Pearce booked Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods in a tag team title match on the show next week against Finn Balor and JD McDonough. Kingston and Woods, they stormed out of the room. Waller told Pearce not to treat his mates like that. What is going on with these guys? Like, we see, like, they're in the background sometimes and they're talking and it's like little morsels of, hints of something involving them. And like, who could possibly care about this? Grayson Waller and Austin Theory are hanging out with the New Day. Who cares? What is it actually leading to? There's been so much of this with Theory and Waller, and you see them in the background and stuff, and it doesn't go anywhere. Like, nothing comes from it. Nothing comes from it. So I'm not sure why anyone is expected to care about this or where Austin Theory was. I'm not sure. I may be the only one who even cares to ask the question. But we have that match as official for Raw next week. Now, earlier today, Michael Cole had the opportunity to sit down for a special interview with Goldberg, who came back last week. Bill Goldberg. He had the chance to sit down with Goldberg for 30 minutes, he said. And they aired a portion of that interview here, a very small portion. And he wanted to know, what is it about Gunther that puts you in this type of mood? Goldberg's not in a very good mood. And Goldberg asked him if he would expect anything less out of him. Did you think that there was any way that I was going to let what Gunther said about my family last year at Bad Blood slide? He takes his family to a WWE event as a bystander, as a fan, trying to relax. No stress. He's got no match that night to worry about, thank God. He's got no match to worry about, to train for, to prepare for. He's there to have a good time. He's there to be entertained. He's there as a fan. And he steps into a verbal assault from Gunther. The lack of respect from him that night was pretty unbelievable, he said. Did he embarrass him in front of his wife? Absolutely. Did he embarrass him in front of his son? No question. Did he embarrass him in front of his fans in his adopted hometown of Atlanta? 100%. So there was no way that he was going to let him get away with that. He didn't know where or when he was going to seek his revenge and introduce him to who Goldberg really is, whether it's a 58-year-old man or a 28-year-old man. No one's ever going to talk to him like that and get away with it. And so he's vying for his retirement match, as he is vying for his retirement match, and wondering who his opponent is going to be. He thought it was quite serendipitous that he stepped up and put himself, Gunther that is, in this spot. As long as he's breathing, and he was definitely breathing heavily last week, as long as he's breathing and he can step foot into that ring, he is going to make Gunther pay. And he said, Michael, I am going to beat the fuck out of Gunther at Saturday night's main event. And of course, they censored it, but they actually put like a... Remember how they used to video distort the big gold belt when Ric Flair would come out with it in 1991 when he brought it into the company? They video distorted his mouth, but you could tell what he said. You know, he wasn't saying I'm going to beat the living shit out of him. He's going to beat the fuck out of Goldberg. That's what Tony Storm said on Collision. I think Collision on Saturday was AEW's like lowest attended show. I don't even know if they had 2,000 people in the building. And on that show, we had Kota Ibushi came back and Tony Storm is cutting a promo on Mercedes. And I saw the clip. It was from the Fight TV feed because obviously it was censored here in the States. But it's just some like rando Collision in front of almost nobody. And she's on the show cutting this promo. And she's like, I forgot exactly what the line was, but I think she called herself maybe like a bad motherfucker or whatever it was that she said. So we got Tony Storm just casually dropping F-bombs on Collision on Saturday. And I guess Bill Goldberg felt like this was his chance to drop an F-bomb here on this show. But he said he's going to beat the fuck out of Gunther. And this is the first time here that they openly acknowledged on the actual television show that this is going to be his retirement match. I stand by what I said last week. I still think that they should have gone about this a different way, which storyline-wise would have made more sense, and I think it would have been a little more compelling. Goldberg is in this frame of mind where apparently he's been waiting to get his revenge for how many months has it been since October? Like 8-9 months? He's been just waiting for the right opportunity. And so now is his chance to come out and get that revenge on Gunther, right? And he's all angry and pissed off. And he's all wound up. He's all emotional. Would it not make sense for Gunther to say, okay, you know what? You want me? You want to get your revenge on me? You want a shot at my World Heavyweight Championship? I'll tell you what. I'm willing to put something on the line, but you've got to put something on the line too. And what you should put on the line, what I want you to put on the line in this match is your career. If you think you can beat me, you actually think you can beat me? 58-year-old Bill Goldberg, you're going to beat me? You were the big star when I was a kid. I'll put my championship on the line. You put your career on the line. And then you get a title versus career match. And instead, like, it's just, again, it's so lazy the way that they are just slapping this together as if they just legitimately just want to get it over with. And they didn't even care enough to put too much effort into, thinking about the rollout here, which is surprising because Goldberg in an interview not that long ago said that he had some level of creative control over the rollout of this angle. So maybe this was his idea. I don't know. I don't want to absolve Triple H here because at the end of the day, he's the head of creative, but yeah, I don't know. Just the way they threw it out there so casually was just very lazy, I thought. But this was good. I will say this was good. It was short. It was sweet. Goldberg got to the point and didn't overstay its welcome. This is where they cut the interview off. Again, did Michael Cole interview him for 30 minutes? I'm sure he didn't. I don't think Goldberg has done anything for 30 minutes in his life, but this is what they aired here on the show. Now, when they cut back to the announcers, Michael Cole said when it was over, he asked Goldberg if this is definitively the last match of his professional wrestling career. And Goldberg said yes. And then Cole asked him, what happens if you win the World Heavyweight Championship? And Goldberg told him, interesting dilemma, isn't it? I don't know if interesting is the right word I would use for it, but if he wins the World Heavyweight Championship, I'm pretty sure that Seth Rollins is going to take care of it on the show that night. Seth Rollins will be cashing in his money in the bank. If Goldberg actually beats Gunther, which is something that should never, ever, ever happen, but if it does, he's not leaving Atlanta with the World Heavyweight Championship. So that will be his last match, win, lose, or draw. So hopefully he has a good match. I talked about Goldberg on the podcast this weekend. I said, the match he had with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 33 is one of the best matches that he had in his entire WWE career, from the first run to the most recent run that he had. That right there was as good of a match as you could possibly ask for from those two guys. It was smash mouth. It was 5 or 6 minutes. It was mostly finisher, spam, and suplex city and all that, but that's exactly what it needed to be. And then you've had Goldberg matches that are the exact opposite, that are absolute dog shit. And if this is going to be the man's final match, then I hope he gets to go out on a high note, because I certainly don't want to watch Gunther go out there and have a stinker. Gunther has had matches with people, like, look at the matches with Jey Uso. Jey Uso is not the best in-ring singles performer. He's not. He's not the most dynamic performer that they have in the ring. And if you tried to make a top 10 Jey Uso's singles matches list, you're going to struggle, okay? You're going to really have some struggles, because his best matches really were with his brother. It's some of those Usos matches with the New Day and other matches they've had over the years, the Shield or whatever. So for his sake, I hope he can go out there. I hope that he can have the greatest 4 minutes of his life, outside of whatever he may have had with his girlfriend earlier in his life. The best 3 or 4 minutes of his life, and we could be done with this, and he could ride off into the sunset and be content that he got to end his career on his terms in the way that he wanted to, because he's been complaining and huffing and puffing about this match now for several years, that this was owed to him, that this was promised to him by Vince McMahon. I was owed a retirement match. So for his sake, I hope it goes well. And then when Gunther beats him, Gunther can gloat that he's the man who retired the great Bill Goldberg, who, as he told Bret Hart on Raw once upon a time, is his favorite wrestler of all time. I'm surprised that he hasn't brought that up yet. I thought he would bring that up at some point in one of his promos. Well, there's still time, I guess. Back in the Judgment Day Clubhouse, Finn Balor spoke with Raquel Rodriguez. Dominic Mysterio was there. Didn't look very injured to me. JD McDonough and Roxanne Perez. And Balor gave them a pep talk about how they would be okay while Liv Morgan is sidelined. Raquel wondered what would happen to the women's tag team titles. And she added that the general managers had yet to make a decision. Balor said, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And I think he may have muttered something else under his breath. Whatever it was, Raquel got all worked up over his very flippant reaction. And Balor said, see, that's the fire. That's the fire that we need from you, because we need you as an enforcer. Balor told a very depressed Dominic Mysterio that Roxanne had a match, and Dom half-heartedly wished her luck. In the back, Lyra Valkyria found Bayley in the hallway and said that she really just wanted to wish her good luck tonight. No one knows more than her how much Bayley has earned that title shot that she has tonight against Becky Lynch. And as this was happening, you could see Becky in the background. Belt strapped around her waist. She was walking down the hallway, coming in their direction when she stopped in her tracks and noticed them, up ahead having a conversation. And from far away, she kind of looked exasperated, turned right around, and walked in the opposite direction. Bayley said that she didn't know she needed Lyra's permission to get title opportunities. She was acting very bitchy towards Lyra. And then she apologized and promised her, after I win the championship, you'll be first in line. And Lyra said, I just wanted to make sure the two of us are cool. We'll see how long that lasts. We'll get to them a little bit later on. Joe says, Goldberg's son distracts Gunther at the start of the match. Double spear, jackhammer, 1, 2, 3. Let us hope that Joe never gets a creative position on the WWE team. That would be awful. Although Goldberg, Sunberg is walking Goldberg to the ring on Saturday night's main event. He has said that before. His son Gage is going to walk him to the ring. So it is possible that there could be something. There could be some interaction between Goldberg's son and Gunther. If Gunther has to take a bump for Sunberg, though, I'm going to be very upset. We had Jade Cargill against Roxanne Perez in the semifinals of the Queen of the Ring tournament. The winner of this match would go on to Riyadh at Night of Champions to wrestle Asuka in the finals. Asuka beat Alexa Bliss on SmackDown Friday night. Jade's entrance was televised before the commercial break. Roxanne's was not. She was already in the ring. Jade chased Roxanne around ringside. Perez tried to sidestep her and run her into the steps, but Jade stopped short. Jade put her on her shoulders, and she headed up the ring steps with her, but Roxanne slipped out, and then she managed to knock Jade down on her ass on the steps. And so as Jade is sitting on the steps, her left leg, is sort of wedged in between the steps and the ring. And Roxanne kicks the steps into her left knee. Jade shrieks. They go to commercial break. We come back, and Perez is targeting the bad knee. Roxanne jumped from the middle rope, got caught by Jade, who hit a fall-away slam. And Jade had been selling the bad leg, and so naturally, when you're selling a leg injury, what do? You do a kip-up, which is a pretty stupid fucking thing to do if you're selling a knee injury. But at least after she did the kip-up, she did sell the knee a little bit. Jade put Perez down with a spine buster, and then she picked her up, and she licked her face. She licked the side of Roxanne's face. Isn't that Penelope Ford's gimmick in AEW? She just licks it. She licks her opponent. She licks people. So she licked her and then chokeslammed her for a 2 count. Michael Cole said mind games. This is what he called it mind games. I don't know what kind of mind game you're playing by licking your opponent. Maybe she just really likes her. I don't know. I'm not quite sure how that's mind games. Cargill avoided Pop Rocks and threw a lousy pump kick that was supposed to connect and very much did not connect. Jade powerbombed Roxanne. Then she tried. Now, it looked like she was trying to deadlift her up, and she couldn't do it. Which, I mean, this is little old Roxanne. I mean, come on here. This is crazy. Jade is built like a statue, but she couldn't get her up, so she just put her down and then picked her back up. Ultimately, she hit Jaded, and she got the win. After the match was over, Jade walked over to the stage to pose next to the case that had the Queen of the Ring crown in it. Asuka came out. She removed her mask, and the two of them exchanged some words. Yeesh. This was not good. This was not good. And that was all on Jade. I mean, she looked out of position for multiple parts of this there towards the end. This was rough. And my hope is that she has a better go of it when she's in the ring with Asuka on Saturday. I still think Jade takes the crown. Didn't look like she was ready for it here, but I still think she's the favorite. She's going to take the crown. And I laid it all out on the Sound Off this weekend as far as where I think this is going, not just with her, but the whole women's championship situation on SmackDown. We have a last woman standing match that has been announced for SmackDown on Friday night in Riyadh. It's going to be Tiffany Stratton defending the title against Nia Jax. I think that we get a cash-in from Naomi on that show. And Naomi will win the WWE Women's Championship. I think that Jade Cargill is going to beat Asuka and win Queen of the Ring. And by virtue of winning Queen of the Ring, she will be able to then challenge for the women's title at SummerSlam. So the women's title match that we're looking at SummerSlam, I think, is Naomi defending against Jade. At SummerSlam, I think Bianca Belair helps cost Jade the match and the championship, and she realigns with Naomi. And we end up with a heel Bianca and Naomi. So that's how I see things moving along here. Naomi has still been trying to be friends again with Bianca ever since WrestleMania. Like, that story is still unresolved. And even though I'm still skeptical that they would actually pull the trigger on a heel turn for Bianca, I would love to see it. And they have the chance to do it right here. They could certainly make a story out of it with these women. So that's how I see things moving along here. Yeah, I know. Jade beating Asuka is crazy work, says Andre. I know. I know. I'm predicting it. I'm not telling you this is how I would do it. I'm just saying this is what I think is going to happen. Doesn't mean we still can't get Asuka and Io. Apparently, there was a segment. I think I stepped away. I missed it. But during one of the commercial breaks, there was, I think in the back, a promo segment with Asuka and Io. And they talked about, meeting for the championship at SummerSlam after Asuka wins Queen of the Ring. Even if Asuka does not win Queen of the Ring, that is still a match I would like to see. And hopefully on the Raw side, that will end up being the Women's World Championship match. That's my hope. So even if Asuka loses, we could still get her and Io at SummerSlam. Backstage, Sheamus was again chatting with Akira Tozawa, Natalya, and Maxine Dupree. Sheamus thinks that Natty and Maxine could be tag team champions one day. Is it just me, or does it feel like they've been having the same conversation now for 3 weeks? So Rusev entered the picture. Tozawa squared up like he was going to fight him, but he left when Rusev said out. Rusev said Sheamus pretends to be everyone's friend, but this place is full of people like him who smile to people's faces and knife them in the back. Sheamus said that he marches to the beat of his own drum, the 10 beats, when he would love to give him the 10 beats right now. And he recalled him being the most egotistical member of the League of Nations. Sheamus told Rusev it was time to put up or shut up. And Rusev smiled and said he would make Sheamus remember this. Then we had the World Heavyweight Champion, Gunther, out to the ring.
Look at Richie Rich over here dropping all this money on me.
But first.
Hey, I just want you to know.
But first.
I think you rock. I don't mean The Rock, A-Rock. You rock. And I just wanted you to know that.
Oh, my. Bombs away. These are the good bombs. Not like the other bombs we've been hearing about all week. These are the good bombs here. This is the red bomb.
Look at Richie Rich over here.
Oh, my God, we got two of them.
This money on me. Hey, I just want
Am I
you to know.
seeing double vision here?
I think you rock. I don't mean The Rock, A-Rock. You rock. And I just wanted you to know that.
Oh, my goodness. Back-to-back bombs. Are these bunker busters? I don't know, but they got my attention. I'll tell you that. We go from Havili to Randy Bobandy. These bombs are as red as this microphone here that I'm using right now. Holy shit. Oh my God. There is a huge fucking spider. Okay. All right. Okay. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. All right, we're back. I'm sweating First of all, I'm sweating bullets here because I turned the fucking air conditioner off, number one. Number two, I looked down on my desk, and let me tell you something, okay? When I was working in here last night, okay? I was working in here last night, and completely unbeknownst to me, when I wrapped up what I was doing, I looked up, and right on the ceiling above my head the entire time is this giant spider. And I freaked out because it was over my head the entire time. And I tried to get it, and it got away. It fell on the floor, and I don't know where it went. And I'm like, fuck, right? So I forgot about it. And I'm sitting here, and I'm doing this show, and I look down, and right in front of me on the desk is the giant spider. Son of a bitch. So I had to go take care of business. I think I got I sucked them up in the vacuum thing. That's what I tried to do last night, and it didn't work. I think I got him. Son of a bitch. I'm telling you, man, this weather, it brings out all kinds of like creepy crawlers here, man. How big are the spiders in New York? You know what? The spiders are generally not that big, but this one was big. This one was big. Anyway. All right, enough with Peter Parker. Havili and Randy, thank you. Thank you again for the red bombs. I'm going to read your messages in just a little bit as we go along here. Spider monster. I had to take care. I couldn't leave it for late. He would have disappeared. I had to take care of business. But we're back. Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you for those 2 bombs. You're awesome. All right. Let me get myself situated here. Just looking at the chat. That spider demanded that you turn on the AC. I'm surviving here. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. We're gonna see how long we can go without it. I want to talk about Gunther though. All right, Gunther came out, and this was gonna be his response to Goldberg in his sit-down interview earlier with Michael Cole. He was pissed about Goldberg interrupting what should have been his championship celebration last week. And he called Goldberg the most destructive man of his generation. But it wasn't 1999 anymore. And when he said that line, the fans cheered. You could hear it. It wasn't like a monstrous pop or anything, but there were like a significant number of fans, significant enough that you can notice that they cheered that line. Because this is not 1999 anymore. It's 2025. And Gunther is the guy. And he was the best professional wrestler in the company, he said, and the title around his waist proved it. Now, we heard Goldberg's comments, but that wouldn't change his perception of him. Goldberg was a 58-year-old one-trick pony who couldn't lace his boots. Gunther looked into the camera at this point, and he apologized to Goldberg's wife Berg, and his son Berg, for everything that he is about to do to him. And Gunther said that he would embarrass Goldberg at Saturday night's main event. He goes, "It's my personal responsibility to make sure that the legacy and the myth of Bill Goldberg forever dies." This was great. This was great. And you know what's even greater? As he was really going along and he was really getting all fired up here, the fans were cheering him. They weren't booing him. They were cheering him because the fans agree with him, because the fans know this isn't 1999 anymore. And there may be certain wrestlers who could get away with, doing these sporadic comebacks. Here it's just one match, but over the years, there have been sporadic comebacks. He's had a bunch of other matches against Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns and Dolph Ziggler and different people. But there are just some people who might be able to get away with that, depending on who they are, how good they are. But people look at this and go, you know what? This guy's right. It's not 1999 anymore. Goldberg shouldn't be challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship. But he is. But there's nothing that Gunther said in this promo that's a lie. And the crowd was, at least the crowd here tonight, the crowd was behind him. So I thought that was very interesting. And it made me wonder what the reaction in Atlanta is going to be. Now, you would think it's Atlanta. And Goldberg said it's his adopted home. You would think that he would get a hero's welcome for his retirement match in Atlanta, of all places. And I'm sure he's going to get a really good reaction. But what kind of reaction is Gunther going to get? Is it just going to be heat, or is it going to be a mixed reaction? Now I'm kind of curious now to see what the split is between fans when they get to the the State Farm Arena in Atlanta. Anyway, this was great. Jackie Redmond tried interviewing Becky Lynch backstage, who claimed that she saw Lyra Valkyria and Bayley conspiring against her earlier. And with that, she left. Okay. Redmond spotted Sami Zayn nearby and went over to try to interview him, but they were interrupted by Karrion Kross and Scarlett. And Kross got another noticeably good pop when he popped up on screen. Kross enjoyed Sami's fiery speech last week, but like he predicted, he got dropped by the Viper. He lost to Randy Orton anyway. And Kross reiterated that Sami Zayn would never be a world champion. Zayn calmly, he didn't say anything at first. He calmly stepped back, and then he knocked him to the ground with a great right hand. And Kross is holding his jaw, and Sami leans down and he tells Kross, "I already spoke to Adam Pearce and our match is official." Although he never said when the match would be taking place. And then he left, and Kross was sitting there holding his jaw, and he started laughing, and he told Scarlett, "Got him. This was the plan all along." They did later announce that their match is taking place at Night of Champions on Saturday. So Sami is going to get his match in Riyadh after all, even though he did not beat Randy Orton on Friday. He is going to be on the Night of Champions card, and I just thought, holy shit, Karrion Kross is actually going to have a match. Not only is he going to have a match, he's going to have a match on a PLE. That's amazing. It's like Halley's Comet. It's one of those things that only happens once every 75 years. So if you're a Karrion Kross fan, enjoy it, because I don't know that he's going to get too many more of these. Next up was Becky Lynch against Bayley for the Intercontinental Championship. I hear the bird. Charlotte is nearby. Charlotte is nearby. Havili with the $32 super chat. Thank you very much, Havili. Havili now is 2 for 2 here with the bomb and the mini bomb. Thank you, my friend. Chirp away. Bayley was in control until Becky yanked her by the arm over the top rope. Becky targeted the arm throughout the commercial break. Bayley mounted a comeback. Becky cut her off with a back suplex, but Bayley responded with a Bayley to belly for a near fall. Bayley then hit a sunset flip powerbomb into the corner turnbuckles for 2. Becky came back with a superplex, and they traded counters until Bayley applied a single leg crab. Becky, though, got a rope break. Bayley blocked a manhandle slam and hit one of her own, but Becky rolled out of the ring, so Bayley could not follow up with the pin. How is it that Bayley does a better manhandle slam than Becky Lynch, who's been doing it as one of her finishing moves for years? I think that they should switch. I think Bayley should adopt the manhandle slam. I mean, it would be better than that horrid rose plant that she uses. And Becky is very hit or miss when it comes to that move and how it looks. I say give it to Bayley so she could ditch the rose plant and Becky could find something else or just stick to the disarm her. Because she does it better than Becky does. So Bayley went after her, but Becky chucked her over the announce desk, and then Becky begins to bury her. All the Becky Hogan fans they're gonna love that. She begins to bury Bayley, literally, under a bunch of chairs in an attempt to get a count-out win. Now enter Lyra Valkyria. She shows up to pull the chairs off. Becky hits Lyra and then invites Lyra to hit her back because she's trying to get herself, a disqualification win. And if Lyra attacks her, then she wins and she retains her title. Lyra wouldn't take the bait, although she badly wanted to. Becky tried a baseball slide to Bayley, but nailed Lyra by mistake. Bayley shoved Becky into the ring post and then into the barricade, and Bayley went to the top rope. This is now after she puts, Becky back in the ring. Bayley goes to the top rope. And as she is standing on the top rope, Lyra Valkyria has now decided that she could take no more. And now she gets into the ring to attack Becky Lynch for the disqualification. So now, Bayley now has every right to be pissed off at Lyra Valkyria because she didn't take the bait before, but she took the bait now. So we got a DQ. Bayley is arguing with Lyra, who tried to defend herself as if there's any defense at all for what she just did. She knowingly just cost her friend the Intercontinental Championship. And Becky, meanwhile, is backing down the aisleway with her title with a smirk, a devilish grin on her face. I thought this was a solid match, until the cheap DQ finish. I wasn't expecting a clean finish. We didn't get a clean finish. I will say this, though. I don't know if you agree with me on this. I think they're doing a good job of making Lyra these last few weeks very unlikable. So if the idea is to turn Lyra Valkyria heel, they're doing a good job. If the idea is not to turn Lyra Valkyria heel, and I don't think it is, they need to be very careful. Because she has just, to me anyway, these last few weeks, she's come off more unlikable than she did before when she was feuding with Becky and having those matches for the championship. I like the shot, though, of Becky with the evil grin, kind of admiring her handiwork here. She has helped drive a wedge further between these two women. And it looks like we're headed for a triple threat match here. Only question is when. Saturday night's main event is coming up, and so is Evolution. Evolution would seem like the likely place for it. We go backstage. Chad Gable is speaking to Ivy Nile and tells Ivy Nile not to tell the creeds, but you're my favorite student. Maybe don't say that in front of a camera. But she should have won Money in the Bank, and she should have won Queen of the Ring. Stephanie Vicaire got in her way, but she should wipe her out completely, just like he did with the Alpha Academy. So then Gable looks over and he spots Penta nearby. And he goes over to Penta and took great pleasure in mocking him for his loss to Braun Breaker. Penta tried to be diplomatic about it, but Gable was rubbing it in his face. He threatened to take his mask off. Penta super kicked him, got him down on the ground, and snapped the arm. And officials entered to chase Penta away as the creeds went and checked on Gable. Through all of this, in the background, Ludwig Kaiser was randomly just observing all of this. He was watching in the background, and that is the most that they have done with Ludwig Kaiser in months. To the best of my knowledge, he has not been hurt. I heard nothing about him having an injury. They just haven't had anything for him. This was the biggest thing that he has done, literally, in months, just by merely being featured on this show. Just to remind you that the man still exists. Now, in the ring, we had an angry Raquel Rodriguez with the women's tag team titles, although no tag team partner to share them with. She called out Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley came out. They brawled. Ripley was about to give her a riptide through a table that I think it was Raquel who brought the table into the ring. So she's about to give her a riptide through the table. Roxanne Perez comes back out, and she jumps on Rhea's back. Rhea was able to get rid of her, but Raquel took out Ripley with the Tejana bomb and put her through the table with it. And then Rodriguez and Perez, they embraced, and they posed together to close the segment. Now, when we come back from commercial break, Rhea Ripley barges into Adam Pearce's office, and he already knew what she wanted. He could read her mind. So he offered her a match with Raquel at Night of Champions, but not just any match. He offered her a street fight at Night of Champions, and Rhea liked that idea very much. Now, he said Night of Champions. He did say Night of Champions. It was very low. He almost muttered it under his breath. I had to go back and rewatch it. I'm like, did he mention when the match was going to take place? And they didn't mention it happening on Raw next week. It's happening in Night of Champions. So that match is now official. And that's why I mentioned earlier, you look at this Night of Champions card, which is up to 6 matches now. Dom and AJ are off the card. That's canceled for now. But out of the 6 matches that are scheduled for this show, 2 of them on Night of Champions are for actual championships, which I just think is kind of funny. But anyway, so that match is now official. Now, they did not because they probably haven't made a final decision yet. But again, the easiest idea, I mentioned it last week when Liv got hurt, and we were talking about this right here on the stream. The easiest thing to do if you want to figure out what do we do with these women's tag team titles now that Liv Morgan we know is going to be out for an extended period of time, you could vacate them, but what the fuck is the point of that? Vacate them and do what? Have a tournament with who? With who? B-Fab and Michin? Natty and Maxine? Like, no. Roxanne is right there. Roxanne is right there in the group. You substitute her in Liv's spot, and it feeds perfectly into this story that's right there when Liv comes back. The bad blood between her and Roxanne. She doesn't trust this woman, or she's jealous of her now getting all the attention in the Judgment Day. We know the Judgment Day is still going to be lingering around 6 months from now if it takes 6 months for Liv to come back, because the Judgment Day just goes on and on and on. They lose one member, they gain a new one, and it just goes on. It's the path of least resistance, and frankly, it's the idea that makes the most sense. So while they have not made that official yet, it seems pretty clear to me based on, even what they did here. That's probably what they're going to end up doing, and I think that's the right move to make. Actually, the right move to make would be to just not even have them in the first place, but that's not going to happen. Now, they aired the video package that they first showed us on Friday Night of Some Champions. They showed us the video package, very long video package, very well done. So was the one, I think I mentioned this also, but we don't get too many long video packages on AEW television. Tony Khan does not like doing them on TV. He's afraid to really have any kind of segment for, especially a video package, that is going to go on for too long and eat into all the wrestling that he likes to do. So when they do packages like that, they usually save them for their social media. But they aired that one on the Kenny Omega Kazuchika Okada feud. That was also well done. This one I think was even longer than that one, and this was about the history between John Cena and CM Punk. It's the yin and the yang, and they had Corey Graves doing the voiceover for it. It's the same video, but they added in some footage from the end of SmackDown and the pipe bomb stuff on Friday. So again, very well done, just kind of documenting the extensive history between these two men. I still can't believe we're getting this match on Saturday, and it's not being saved for a bigger stage like SummerSlam. And they closed the show with the King of the Ring semifinal match between Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. Michael Cole said that this was the first singles match between these two men. Cody offered a handshake. Jey accepted. Cody had Jey in a figure four leg lock coming out of a commercial break. Jey, though, got to the bottom rope to break the hold. Jey went up top for an Uso splash, came down, Cody got the knees up. And then Cody got a Kimura lock applied. When was the last time we saw Cody bust out a Kimura? Not only did we get the Kimura lock, we got a Brock Lesnar name drop on commentary from Michael Cole. Jey got out of it, though, and applied the sleeper hold that won him a world title at WrestleMania. Cody was flailing, then he was fading. Cody eventually got Jey on his back, and then he got over to the ropes, and he dumped him out over the top rope just to buy himself some time. They ended up on the top rope together, and Jey headbutted him to the mat. Cody, though, scaled the ropes right back up to the top and into a superplex, and that took us into another commercial break. Cole said, this was great. So Michael Cole on commentary says, "Watch this impact," right from the superplex. And, since Lee Fitting took over the production and Kevin Dunn burrowed back into the woods, Lee Fitting is the one doing the production for these shows. And so one of the devices that they use is going into a commercial break. You'll get that slow-mo replay of like the most recent move, like if it's a dive, to take us into commercial. But we don't actually see the end of the move. They start the replay and then they fade out, right? So Cole goes, "Watch this impact." And I knew exactly what was going to happen. Probably had guys in the truck like, "No, why would you say that?" And they show Cody in like mid-flight with him doing the superplex. And then they just, before the impact even happens, they fade to commercial. I'm like, boy, yeah, great impact there. Thanks, Lee. So back from break, they were slugging it out. Jey Uso hit a very Randy Orton-esque snap power slam. Then Jey set up for a crossroads. Not Cody, it was Jey. Cody got out of it and dropped him with a Cody cutter for a near fall. Cody went for a disaster kick, but Jey ducked it and came off the ropes with a spear for a near fall. Jey set up for another spear, but ran into a kick, and then Cody hit a step-up super Cody cutter. Jey, though, managed to kick out yet again. Cody set up for a crossroads. Jey reversed it into a crossroads of his own, which actually looked pretty cool. It's kind of neat the way he did that. Covers him. Cody kicks out. Great near fall. Jey drops him with a super kick and then yells at him to get up. Cody got up to his knees. He ate another kick. Jey picked him up and hit him with a spear. And Jey said, that's it. Positioned him for an Uso splash. He headed up top, but Cody scaled the ropes out of nowhere. While standing on the top rope, he hooks the head like he's going for an RKO of his own, and he delivered a cutter all the way from the top rope. So then Cody picks him back up. He hooks him, and he finally hit crossroads, and he pins Jey Uso to advance to the finals of the King of the Ring tournament. That noise, did you hear that noise? That noise you hear is Rikishi throwing a glass against the wall in his living room. He will not be happy. Another big loss here for Jey Uso. I can't wait for the podcast. I know it's not much of a hot take here. I said this on Twitter when the show was over. I know we're setting a very low bar, I admit, but it's just funny to me that we just saw Cody Rhodes have a semifinal match here against Jey Uso in the King of the Ring tournament, and it was better than the match that Cody had in the main event of WrestleMania this year against John Cena. But by far, this was the superior match. I would dare say, again, one of the best singles matches that Jey Uso has ever had in his career. The two of them slapped hands when it was over. They hugged, and that sent us off the air. A really good main event and the right outcome. We are finally getting Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. We have not had this match. I mean, when would the last match have been that these two would have had? Would it have been the triple threat? Not Evolution. What was the group that Randy? Legacy. Would it have been the Legacy triple threat at WrestleMania 26? I don't know, but the last time these two were in the ring together on opposite sides was a very long time ago. Cody came back to the company in 2022. So since then, we have not seen these two lock horns yet. They've been on the same side, but we have not seen them on opposing sides. And so now we're going to get that chance to do so. And this is where the company can kick things off. This right here is where you can wind it up for a Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton program for the championship coming out of SummerSlam, if you assume and believe that Cody is going to SummerSlam to beat John Cena to get back the WWE Championship, which he absolutely should. I don't really like the idea of Cena holding the title all the way to the end of the year. I don't think it's necessary. I think Cody wins the belt back, goes off with Randy to work their program, and then you give Cena those last few months of the year to work his way back into the good graces of the fans and go babyface and go out the right way. Because he ain't going out of heel. But this right here, a loss in this tournament for Randy Orton could be the catalyst to everything I just talked about. This is the second year in a row that Randy Orton is going to the finals of the King of the Ring. He went to the finals last year. He lost to Gunther. He's going to go to the finals this year. I believe he's going to lose to Cody. And that may just be possibly what sends him over the edge. That might be one loss too much for him. And then you've got a whole program that you can do coming out of SummerSlam with these two. Even better if Randy Orton goes heel. He doesn't have to necessarily, but if you do babyface against babyface, and Randy is popular enough, and talking about wanting to win that 15th World Championship, that I think more people would side with Randy than Cody, in that situation. So, and they may do that anyway, even if Randy goes heel. Who knows? But this was a middle of the road show with a very good main event. Now, we have an updated lineup here for Night of Champions. So let me run this down here because some things have changed and some things have been added. Again, the show is still scheduled for Riyadh on Saturday, 1 o'clock Eastern time. And so when the show is over, it'll be late afternoon, early evening. I'll be live on YouTube. You're going to get a live recap as soon as the show's over. Here's the updated card. Sami Zayn, one-on-one with Karrion Kross. I'm picking Sami to win this match. Rhea Ripley against Raquel Rodriguez in a street fight. These two have a lot of history together. These two had, once upon a time, I'm probably going back 4 years or so at this point, but these two had a really good last woman standing match in NXT. I think it might have been New Year's Evil, many years ago. And they've had a few matches on the main roster since then, none of which I can recall being very memorable. But I still remember that one match they had in NXT, and that was last woman standing. This has a street fight stipulation, so I'm hopeful that these two can make the most of it. I'm going with Rhea for the win. We have Jacob Fatu defending the United States Championship against Solo Sikoa. I'm going with Solo to win the title. I think that you have to prolong this. This shouldn't just be a one and done. The way they've built this up for so long, I don't know. I mean, for Jacob to just go in there and beat him would seem kind of anticlimactic at this point. I can't see them doing that. I think they're going to want to drag this out a little bit longer. I think that there's a reason we've seen Hikuleo working these dark matches or main event taping matches the last couple of weeks. I think he's on his way to TV. I think he's going to show himself at Night of Champions. I think that he's going to help Solo win the U.S. title. Solo. And then Jacob is going to have to run through him and JC Mateo to eventually get back to Solo and then win the belt back. But I think we're getting a title change on Saturday. We have the Queen of the Ring final. It is going to be Jade Cargill, one-on-one against Asuka. She had a rough night tonight, did Jade. Hopefully it'll be better on Saturday. I would love to see Queen Asuka. I don't think we're getting it. I think we're getting Queen Jade. And in the King of the Ring final, Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, I think we're getting King Cody. I think they're going with the obvious, which is Cody getting his rematch with John Cena for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam. And this is how they do it. This is how we get there. Randy Orton winning King of the Ring and then getting John Cena for the championship, like we saw that already. They're not going back to that match. They did the match in St. Louis. It was actually better than it had any right to be. And there have been some bad John Cena, Randy Orton match, like boring matches that they've had. That was one of the better matches that they've actually had maybe ever. But there's no reason to go back to it. Remember, the winner of the King of the Ring gets a shot at the championship of their respective brand. It's not happening. So we're getting King Cody. And then in the main event, John Cena and CM Punk. First time in 13 years. 13 years or 14 years? No, actually it's 12 years, right? Okay, now I'm confused. So the last match they had was Raw in 2013. All right, 12 years. It's been a long fucking time. Okay, how about that? John Cena and CM Punk for the WWE Championship. John Cena is walking in as the champion. John Cena is walking out as the champion. And that's all you need to know. And that's 6 matches. I don't think they're adding anything else. I would be shocked, frankly. We usually only get 5 on these shows. 6 is pretty much the limit for Triple H. So I think unless somebody pulls out and doesn't want to go, that's pretty much the card. Like I said, I'll be on YouTube when it's over on Saturday afternoon to do the full review. We'll go over the entire thing. What did you think of Raw here before Night of Champions, the Go Home Raw? 77% thumbs up for tonight's show. 23% thumbs down is the score. You can vote at Solomonster and follow me on X. I posted a picture of a very cool fine art print. Somebody sent me a link to point out that this guy was doing a print, like a cartoon print of all of the participants in the 1992 Royal Rumble. And it's really cool. So I posted a picture up there of what it looks like. I just got to get a frame for it. I don't even know where I'm going to put it. But shout out to Hal Haney. If you want to check out his store, he's got a ton of great prints, wrestling and others. So you can, I tagged him on Twitter. You can go to his profile, check out his work. He's got a lot of really good stuff up there. I already got this thing behind me over here. I don't even know where I'm going to put it. We'll figure it out. Oh, man. We got some bombs to go through, don't we? Although we are 6 out of 10 on the goal for bonus be the bookers. So I don't know if that's going to happen. We're actually at 379 in likes. We're not even at the regular super chat goal. Got to get those likes up. And I updated Be the Booker recently and everything, so see if we make it. All right, let's go back here.
It's the amazing Gunther. Jerry Lawler loves Gunther the Magnificent. All hail Gunther.
The mighty Gunther is joining us tonight. Love to see it. Hey, Dark Effect, thank you very much. Ken says, I met The Undertaker over the weekend. He was awesome. That's cool. I saw that was it Fanatics Fest? I saw some people posting pictures. I thought it was Fanatics Fest. And we are now at 410. Look at that, just like that. 410 likes and counting. So officially unlocked Be the Booker. Funny how quickly that can change. When threats are made, it's funny how quickly things can change. All right, let's take a look at the beginning of this super chat list. Terrible Dried Chicken Without Flavor is kicking us off tonight. It says, John Cena heel run reminds me of evil Superman from Superman 3. He fights for lies and for injustice. The dirty American way. He cheats, he wins. That's the Eddie Guerrero way. Joseph, no one checked if Mariah's new name isn't porn related. 2 other actors have that name. It's nuts. Think they might change it. No, I don't think they're going to change it. I don't know if they necessarily realized what you just said. Are you sure there's 2? I thought it was just 1. I'll have to investigate this. But no, I don't think they're going to change it. I think they've already trademarked it. They've already announced it. I don't see them changing anything at this point. Terrible Dried Chicken, let me tell you how John Cena can get more heat, brother. He steals both the dogs, Larry and Pharaoh, shaves their hair and neuters them. Triple H plays it too safe with his booking. He needs to step down as head booker and just focus on becoming chief content officer. He is losing touch. He does play it very, very safe on a lot of things. Sometimes he'll throw you a curveball, but he does like to play it very safe. Ragnarok. ATP. Just put the Usos back together. Oh, at this point. I just learned a new acronym. Just put the Usos back together and call it a day. They've taken away all my belief in Jey winning any important singles matches against top talent. Are you disappointed that he didn't win? Like, I mean, I don't know. What do people expect here? Like, Jey Uso, he won the Royal Rumble this year. He won the World Heavyweight Championship. What more do you want from this guy? Cody was the better choice to win King of the Ring. Lakers Pats, how does Lionel Richie answer his phone? Hello, is it me you're looking for? I'll bet you he doesn't answer his phone. Especially if it's a number he doesn't recognize. He lets it go to voicemail. That's what I do. Well, I don't recognize you. I ain't answering. Nick Grasso with a 1999. Let me see something here. There we go. Nick Grasso says they have Io Sky in a backstage segment during commercial. Seriously. And meanwhile, we get Chad Gable and Ivy Nile on TV instead. The lack of TV and ring time for their women's world champion is ridiculous. I can't argue with that. I mean, that's actually a great point. We had a backstage segment with multiple backstage segments. We had a backstage segment with fucking Sheamus and Tozawa and Natty and Maxine. But Io Sky, she just can't seem to buy television time lately. And she's the women's world champion. It's pretty ridiculous. And I'm also wondering now if Nikki Bella is off the Evolution show. Because with Liv Morgan's injury, I thought maybe they would pivot to Nikki and Raquel or Nikki and someone else. There was no even mention of her on the show tonight. I wonder if she just lost her Evolution match or if they're just going to put her in like a battle royal or something. But yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. It is quite ridiculous. We go back to Rob here. Rob, with 3 months of channel membership, I am ready for Seth and his group, The Visionary Revolution, to be a thing. Yeah, I hope that's not the name. The Visionary Revolution? Ugh. Yeah, I hope not. Justin G. Someone has to get us to bonus be the booker. So I guess it's me to start. Let me ask this. If we have to watch Goldberg, who would you really want to see? Also, for Sidro, I don't trust stairs. They're always up to something. Yeah, shout out to Sidro. Wherever he is, I hope he's doing well and doing better and recovering. But what's the question here? If we have to watch Goldberg, who would you really want to see? I mean, as his opponent, I don't understand the question. If we have to see Goldberg, who would you really want to see? I mean, I've always said I think the match is Goldberg and Braun Breaker. You know, with Braun is the one who is sort of ascending to the throne, but now Braun is involved in something completely different. It doesn't make any sense to have him wrestle Goldberg, if that's what you're asking. There's our friend Havili here with a $130 super chat. What's up, Solomonster? Shout out from Brisbane, Australia. How you doing? I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Havili. Today it is June 24th, 2025, Tuesday. Thanks for it. That's right. You're ahead of us. In your opinion on what the reaction is CM Punk is going to get in Saudi Arabia, I think he's mostly going to get a very positive reaction. There may be some boos, but I think he's going to get a positive reaction. When the match was announced with him and John Cena, tickets, if they didn't sell out instantly, they damn near sold out instantly. Like he's still a big enough name. People want to see him. And I got an email from somebody over in Saudi who listens to the show who said, like, there's a mix of people who don't like some of the comments he's made in the past about them, and people who are also just willing to separate those comments from CM Punk, the performer, who really would love to see him live. You know, and now they're gonna get their shot, gonna get their chance to see him. So I think it'll mostly be positive. Favorite meal, he says. Favorite meal. Could use a good filet mignon with a baked potato. What's your all-time dream Mets team? Just like all the best Mets on one squad, man. Tom Seaver, Keith Hernandez, Darryl Strawberry, Dwight Gooden, Gary Carter, Mike Piazza. Randy Bobandy follows that bomb with one of his own. Hey, yo, Solo, just a random question. As you are a New Yorker, were you a fan of SNL? If so, who are your top 5 performers? Mine are John Belushi, Chris Farley. I know this is a questionable take, but count the 3 Lonely Island boys as one. Phil Hartman and Norm Macdonald. I was never a huge Saturday Night Live fan, like watching it week to week. I'm just one of those people that would check it out periodically. I agree with you. Chris Farley was awesome. So Chris Farley, Phil Hartman, Norm Macdonald. Can't disagree with that one. Bill Murray. I don't know. I was never a Will Ferrell guy. I was never a big fan of his. So I wouldn't include it. Eddie Murphy. Probably Eddie Murphy. We got Captain. Oh, everybody. We got to salute the captain here. Captain Holden. Holden Two Dicks. There he is. All right. Night of Champions is a sleeper. PLE. Look, any PLE could be a sleeper show, but looking at this card, I'm not necessarily thinking it's going to be. I mean, I guess the potential is there. You got Cody and Randy, you got Cena and Punk. Those are 2 big matches on this show. I was looking forward to Dom and AJ, and now that's off. It should be a good card, though. Clay V-Man 07. Solo and the Spider chatting about web design. All right, I debated. I said, I'll give it to him. Still looking around here. Just making sure he's not lurking. All of his friends are going to come after me. The Queen is going to come after me. Carlos with 43 months of channel membership. What color skull is that? I should know this. Is that blue? I think it's red. Hello, Solo. When did you start watching New Japan? And what were the matches that got you into it? I start like really paying attention to it and watching the big matches probably around 2017, 2018. It was around the time of Omega Okada. I mean, I was watching the Okada Tanahashi stuff as well. So that was years before. But like, I mean, really starting to get into it, probably 2017, 2018. Also, Seth's group is like Temu Death Riders. Well, it's kind of funny. They both carry a briefcase around with them. It's not quite at Death Riders level yet, although it may get there. Havili. Thank you, Solomonster, for the birthday wishes on Saturday. It was my 32nd birthday. Happy birthday again to Havili. I went to see the new Karate Kid movie, and it was great. Is it just me, or the finals of the King and Queen of the Ring is all babyface? Yeah, I guess so. I guess you're right. It is all baby faces. And actually, on the SmackDown side, it's all SmackDown. On the King of the Ring side, it's all SmackDown talent. Godfather or Goodfellas, he says. You know what? Some people may come at me for this. Goodfellas. I go Goodfellas. Jordan Hitchner. Cody ain't got shit but a bar of soap and some toothpaste. And he's going to have a crown too after Saturday. Diego Vasquez. No yeet of the ring. A missed merch opportunity. Yeah, well, I'm tired of everything just being branded for the sake of merch, so fuck that. The right man won tonight. Sarah, yes, I mentioned this on the podcast. I did see Athena's match on Collision. She popped up on Collision too. Athena was part of an all-star women's match, so they could shove 8 women together in the same match. But hey, at least she got TV time. Now let's do that again next week. Anobi, a wild Kaiser, appears. Yes, and then just as quickly as he appeared, he disappeared. What about Heat or Casino? Heat is one of my favorite movies, and Casino is awesome. If I had to go Goodfellas or Casino, I would go Goodfellas. But I love them both. Randy Bobandy says, well, I'm aware I should leave jokes to the professionals, but I'm shooting my shot. What do mermaids use to wash their fins? Tide. Not bad. Not bad. Oh, we have Dark Effect with the $50 super chat. I love Gunther, but he's wrong about one thing. He's not the best wrestler in the company. He's the best wrestler in the world, period. Every other wrestler is just trying to play catch up no matter how good they are. Oh, I thought you were going to say that he's not the best wrestler in the company, that it's actually Io Sky. Io and Gunther, man. Those are the two right there. Dark Effect, thank you. It's hard to disagree with what you just said, though. Phil the Truth. As I celebrate my 33rd birthday in San Juan, I have a message to send to my fellas. Always wipe in between your cheeks when showering. That is all. I'm just giving you that because that was disgusting. Good advice, but disgusting all the same. But because it's his birthday, I'll let it slide. So happy birthday, Phil. I will buy you some dude wipes for your birthday. Blue Jay, 3 months of membership. Knowing how much history you got, check out Super On. I have no idea what that means. Super On? Super On. I don't know what that is. RDS Harry. I was at Fanatics. I had a blast. Very cool. Had a couple of friends who were there. They had a good time. Bobby Means. Could you see a scenario in which Charlotte Flair forms a faction with Alexa Bliss? I could see Alexa extending an invitation and Charlotte accepts. No, I don't see a faction, but I do see sort of an odd couple pairing, and eventually they win the women's tag team titles. That's my prediction. The Solomonster. That's new. Why so solemn? Ketchup is valid on a hot dog. You know, that's something I used to do when I was a kid, sometimes. As an adult, I feel like it's just not acceptable. You put mustard on a hot dog. Mustard, maybe sauerkraut. Not really a relish guy. You put mustard on a hot dog. See, I think the reason you are so solemn is because you've been putting ketchup on your hot dogs. If you put mustard on your hot dogs, you would be a lot happier. Justin G at Tongaloa Superfan says Gunther is nothing versus Tongaloa. Well, when Tongaloa comes back, maybe that'll be a match we get at some point. And Gunther will make short work of him. We're all caught up now on your super chats. Ketchup and mustard with relish. See, now you're overdoing it. Why don't you put mayo on there too while you're at it? Man. Glad I'm not letting you people barbecue for me. Anyway, we're not doing double Be the Booker tonight, but we are doing Be the Booker. We are getting one round in there. You always want to get at least the one round. So let's see how we do. Shall we? Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to be the Booker.
Hey, speaking of hot dogs, what's he got in his hand there? It looks like Doc Hendricks has a hot dog in his hand. I wonder if it has ketchup on it. Be the Booker time. Bret Hart says, here in Chile, we put mayo, ketchup, mustard, and hot sauce in a hot dog. Oh, man. I hope the plumbing in Chile is good. If I ever go and I have that, I hope the plumbing is good. All right, tag team Be the Booker. Let's book ourselves a tag team match. See how we end up doing. Not a good start. We've got the Headbangers, Mosh and Thrasher, former WWE Tag Team Champions. The Headbangers against, I'm trying to see if I remember all six. I can't even count. Five of their names. Mickey, Johnny, Kenny, Nikki, Johnny. Did I get them? I think I got them all. The Spirit Squad. It doesn't matter anyway because I'm giving him the buzzer, but I think on the far left there it's Johnny, Kenny, I want to say Mikey in the mid. No, Mikey is the small one. Mike Mondo. Who the fuck is that guy in the middle? Is it Gary? I don't know. And then of course Nikki is there on the end. No, Mitch. It's fucking Gary. It's Mitch. Where the hell did I get that from? All right, let's move on. Enough of this. It's the easiest. That's the quickest and easiest buzzer we've had here in quite some time. It'd be the Booker. Not since Rosa Mendez, who we may end up on here in this round we're about to book. Oh, Jamie Hayter, who is injured again. Hopefully she won't be out for as long as she was the first time, but that sucks. Jamie Hayter against Chris Statlander. Sign me up for that. Man, they could do that match in Arlington, but Jamie's hurt. Actually, Jamie against Tekla would make more sense since they used her in that angle to introduce Tekla. Tekla laid her out, but I guess we're not getting it. Jamie Hayter and Chris Statlander. Main event time. We had a lot of Al Bundy the other night in Be the Booker. I think we need to give Al the night off. I think Peg wanted Al up in the bedroom. So while he's occupied, we'll book a main event. Oh my God, it's Mr. Iguana. This is already a bell right here and now. Mr. Iguana is here in Be the Booker. This is his Be the Booker debut with Yeska on his shoulder. That Yeska is with him. Look, everybody, it is Mr. Iguana. This is exciting. Mr. Iguana is going to take on Brock Lesnar. Oh, poor Mr. Iguana. Poor Yeska, actually. As quickly as Mr. Iguana made his debut, I think that Mr. Iguana may be making a quick exit from Be the Booker. That's about the worst possible opponent you could ask for Mr. Iguana. That is not going to end well for him. Now tell me that I just didn't book The best main event that you'll see all year. Brock Lesnar against Mr. Iguana. Now I want to see that match, and I want to see him throw the iguana at Brock, and it lands like right on his shoulder, just to see his reaction. I hate to see this now. Well, if you ever want to see a dead iguana, there you go.
I am the Lynch.
Shut the fuck up.
Fuck that tree.
Cut that tree down. Cut that son of a bitch down. That was Eminem with a $12 super chat. I was watching WrestleMania's... Oh, WrestleLamia. I thought it was a WrestleMania. WrestleLamia's news last week regarding Gail Kim's possible return to WWE. I saw a popular interviewer talking to Gail from years ago. How would you rate that interviewer? I think he's pretty good, actually. I think he's pretty good at what he does. Seemed pretty confident in himself. He may or may not have been a little smitten at the time, you know, being so close to the lovely Gail Kim, but I thought he did pretty well, actually. I didn't even know it was in the video. It's the first I'm hearing of it. I'm gonna have to go check this out now. Yeah, that was from WrestleCon. That was WrestleCon in 2017. I got to interview a bunch of people. I was the Fight TV roving correspondent. So that was when I did the sit-down interview with Mean Gene Okerlund. I interviewed Demolition. I interviewed the Mountie and Jimmy Hart together. And a bunch of other people, but Christy Hemme was one, and Gail Kim was also. And Gail was great. Gail was great. Yeah, Gail Kim apparently was at the Performance Center, and there's some chatter that they might be interested in bringing her in. I guess maybe as a coach. I think that she would be a great addition to the Performance Center. I'm sure she has a wealth of knowledge that she can share, and we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. But yeah, I'll have to check that video out. I see that interviewer getting 87,000 followers at some point. 87.1 to be exact. Hey, tracking problems with the $4.99. How many twirls do you think Brock can get off of Mr. Iguana from an F5? How many revolutions? He says at least 4. I would say at least 3, but probably 4. 3 or 4. Now the question is, what about Yeska? He could probably get at least 8 or 9 revolutions on the actual iguana. Oh man. Anyway, thank you guys for another fun stream here, talking Raw. The final Raw before Night of Champions. We got on this channel 2 more live streams until Night of Champions, because I'll be live for the Dynamite post show on Wednesday, and then for the SmackDown post show on Friday, and then live on Saturday after Night of Champions, and then of course the podcast. That'll be episode 918 on Sunday. But before all of that, tomorrow night, live on JD's channel, it is episode 100, which funny enough is what it will probably be outside as I am doing the show with him. Episode 100 of Tuesday Night Titans, our centennial episode. I'm gonna have to drink something to celebrate the occasion tomorrow. See, I got to see what I have on hand here. But yes, it's gonna be a big night. Episode 100. We have a lot to discuss, and hopefully you guys can join. It's gonna be a party. Big Hoss with a $5 super chat. Jordan Grace against Nia Jax feud. Done like Bronson Reed versus Braun Strowman could cook. Or Jordan being a heel under Heyman feuding with Rhea. Jordan Grace as a Heyman girl. That would be interesting. I could get behind that. Supposedly, she was supposed to be called up as well. So it might not be that much longer before we see her on TV. If they wanted to add some like female muscle to Heyman's crew, she would be the one. I mean, she would make the most sense. I don't know if they want to add any females to that group, but if they did, I think she would be the one. Hey, Andre, welcome to the channel. Andre White, we're getting out of here, and Andre just showed up here. Well, Andre has a lot to go back through here from the review. And if you missed episode 917 of the Sunday podcast, over 2.5 hours, covered a lot of ground this weekend. Go check that out and stream it, download it, leave a comment, support. Get us up there in the rankings. We were right there again, top 3, right below Cornette this weekend. So thank you for that. I'm going to get out of here. Be well. Stay safe. Have yourselves a great rest of your night. Stay cool. I'm going to go put the AC back on. Make sure there's no other little creepy crawlers around. I'll see you over on JD's channel tomorrow night, episode 100 of Tuesday Night Titans, and back here on this channel Wednesday night for the AEW Dynamite post show. Until then, take care, guys.